Welcome back to the Real Estate Insider Podcast, where we highlight the agents who quietly take amazing care of their people and still find a way to grow in any market. I'm your host, Jared Sawyer. I've been in mortgage lending for the last 22 years, and the one thing I've learned is this. Agents who win long-term are the ones who treat every client like a relationship, not a transaction. They show up before the deal, during the deal, and long after the closing, and they don't fake it. That's why I'm really excited for today's guest. Joanne has built her business since 2021 by doing exactly that, taking care of people, staying in touch, letting referrals and repeat clients be the proof. On my side, my team at Mortgage Solutions, we work very much the same way, fast communication, real conversations, and we're always trying to make an agent look like a rock star in front of their clients. So if you're listening, and you want to see how it's supposed to be done, listen up to Joanne. Joanne, who's closed 55 transactions since 2021, is on track for 19 more here at the end of 2025. One of the toughest markets we've ever had, and she's built her business on referrals, post-sale care, and treating every client like they matter. She's authentic, coachable, and above all, just a solid human being. I don't know what else to say. Joanne, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. That's quite the greeting you gave me there. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's all true. Let's start with your world today. For listeners that haven't met you, how would you describe how you got involved in real estate, who you serve, and really how you approach your clients?
Yeah. So I got into real estate in 2021, just after the COVID stuff. So I guess I'm a real estate COVID baby. And the clients that I service they started out like with friends, family, my sphere, just really telling anyone and everyone that would listen that I'm in real estate now. And I chose to go into it because before real estate, I worked in the school system and it just changed after COVID. And I just wanted to be able to still serve people and help people. And so real estate seemed like a good fit. I would be able to really, when I was in the schools too, no matter how hard I worked, how late I stayed, it didn't matter. I got paid the same thing. And so with real estate and serving, I was able to just determine what my income was going to be.
Fantastic reason to get into it. So you moved into a seller's market from more of a buyer's market, and you saw that quick paradigm shift happen from when you started your business. How did you
Yeah.
adjust your mindset so quickly to be able to stay consistent?
Honestly, I don't pay attention to any of that. I just service my
Perfect.
clients. I just service my clients. The people that have needs, and I try and meet those needs, and I just don't really pay attention to it. I mean, I know what's going on. I'm aware of it, but I don't base it on how I work or help my clients.
One of the biggest themes in your business that I remember from the last time we talked is what happens after closing. So how do you stay connected with people once the deal is done?
I do pop-bys. I just bring my clients little gifts, usually once a month.
Well, that's
And yeah, they like it. I get little thank yous and they're fun. I love giving. And so it just makes me happy to
yeah.
drop by. And sometimes I just sneak up to the door and leave a little something. And sometimes I ring the bell, but it's good. It's fun to do. So
You also said that you count your rental transactions just as important as the actual real estate purchase transactions. Why is it important to treat a renter or a smaller deal in the same as you would maybe like a larger scale purchase or someone buying a home?
I just look at it that I'm helping a person, like they need to find a home, whether right now is the right time to buy or not, they need a home. And at some time, I'm hopeful, and I'm sure they are too, that they're going to need to purchase at one point. So I just treat them all the same and help. Like my goal is to help people get into homes. So it doesn't really matter if they're renters or buyers or sellers.
So for someone who's listening and thinking, I'll buy someday, but I'm not ready today. Rates are too high, or I don't want to get in right now. What would you say to that person?
First, I would talk to them and just see maybe they're not as well informed. Hook them up with a lender that they can really know if they are, and then also what they need to do to be ready. And then we go from there. So it's just based on, if they really are not ready, then we'll go look for rentals. If they are ready, then they're usually super excited and we get to go buy a house together.
How do you stay nurturing that person though that maybe isn't quite ready yet? What's your strategy there to kind of keep them at least engaged to some degree?
They're on my pop-by list, so they get gifts too.
So everyone's going to see you then. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody sees me. I also I'll text on birthdays, just that one-on-one contact that knows I'm thinking about them. It's not just about real estate. I'm happy to wish them a happy birthday, give them a little gift for the season or the month, and just stay in touch with them and let them know I'm here. If the rates change, if things adjust, then I let them know that too.
Perfect. So you're
Mhm.
there just enough to stay in the picture, but not enough where you're constantly knocking on their door. That's perfect. I
No.
love the mix. And you've used a mix of open houses, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and now you're dipping your toe into TikTok a little bit. What's
Yeah.
working best for you to meet kind of new people? Have you seen any fruit come from social media yet?
I wouldn't say I haven't, but it's usually if they are people that I don't know, they've been referred by either friends or family, other clients. So I don't do any paid advertising. So I think when you do the paid advertising, your reach gets a little bit further.
Hmm.
But I like working with the referrals and people that I know. I did just recently get a new client. That would like to list in the new year that I sent out postcards for my last closing. And
Oh,
so
great.
that was exciting that's brought some new clients to me. I've done that all along and I really haven't gotten the response from that. So it was exciting to see that.
And you've said you focus more on connection than like hardcore selling or giving
Yeah,
some sort of sales pitch. How does that
absolutely.
show up in maybe some of the content that you are putting out there?
On social media?
Yeah.
Yeah. My social media is fun. Like I like to have fun. We do some fun videos and different things like that. And then I also, put a little bit of education in there as far as the real estate or the market. But most of my stuff is just who I am, me personally, my family, my dogs, some fun real estate stuff. It's just letting people know I'm in real estate. I want to help you and we're going to have fun while we do it.
I love it. That's great. So you kind of take the stuffiness out of it in a lot of ways and just make them feel comfortable then.
Yeah, I'm not stuffy.
Perfect. Perfect.
And I
All right,
don't like stuffy. So.
no, stuffy's boring. Let's talk a little bit about where you're headed. You set a target out of 24 transactions for 2026. How did you kind of
Mhm.
come to that specific number?
I feel like if I can help 2 families a month, if it works out that way,
Oh yeah.
that
Sure.
I still have my time for my family, my personal, and I can make them feel like they're my only client, which is something that I really try and focus on all the time, is just that, they don't need to know how many other transactions I'm doing or people I'm working with. I want them to feel like they're the only ones. And so for me, that's a good number, both to help my clients and to still have my personal time and be,
Yeah. No, you got to have time for you and for your dogs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, my dogs.
Your dog. She has German shepherds. They're gorgeous.
Yeah,
Letting you know if you're a shepherd fan, she's the one to talk to for sure. You
that's
mentioned
right.
wanting to. I'm sorry. What?
I said, "That's right, they're
Oh
my
yeah,
little assistants."
little assist. And you mentioned wanting to balance growth. Being present with your family, which I think is super important. Having that balance. How does that look like in a day to day setting as real estate agent? Because oftentimes your schedule is really unpredictable.
Mhm.
So how do you coordinate that? How do you balance all that?
I just I try and if, we do have family time, that's marked, that's set. You know what I mean? That's in my calendar. I won't schedule anything for that. And I try and do most of my stuff. I mean, I'm always available. I always answer my phone for my clients. Sometimes my husband and my daughter don't like that, but I do answer it. Even if I have to tell them, I'll call them right back. But I wake up in the morning and I do my workouts. I get my exercise in, take the dogs for a walk, get a lot of my personal stuff done first thing in the morning. I'm an early riser. And then it's just scheduled. And my husband gets home from work in the afternoon. So I try and leave some time for that. And then if I have to go back to do some more work, I do that too. So I just fit it in the way that, I need to, that meets everybody's needs.
So from what I'm hearing is you're producing really well. You're serving your clients and making them feel really valued, like they're the only transaction, and you still have time for yourself, for your husband, for your dogs, for your family, and you're present there, which is the ideal balance. I mean, that is the dream scenario right there. Cause I feel so often than not, real estate agents, as well as, my profession, loan officers and us branch managers, we get really overwhelmed a lot. There's
Yeah.
not that much time in the day, and most of us have families. So it's refreshing to hear that someone has figured out that little nugget of, oh yeah, I got this down. I can balance all this
It's a work in progress. Some
for
days
sure.
are worse than others, but for the most part, I think I do a pretty good job of it.
Good. So you mentioned last year in 2024 you got into having a coach. especially
Yes.
around mindset and goal setting. What was that aha moment where you're like, you know what, I really need to invest in coaching. I need somebody here.
I felt just kind of to move to that next level to keep myself centered and, able to grow and just really be centered and keep that balance of family, work, and in a healthy way.
And you've said it,
Mhm.
goal setting's been a little scary in the past because you just felt guilty if you missed the mark because you felt like that was failure. But how's your perspective on goals changed at all since you started coaching?
I've more or less like learned to dream and that it is okay to dream big. And if we don't meet that goal, it doesn't matter really. It's a goal. And I am that much better than I was before I had that goal, no matter where I end up in that. So I do dream big now and have big goals for the future for my husband and myself and be able to take my kids on family vacations and do all those great things together. So it's refreshing. It's just, it's out there, but it's not a necessity to reach it.
Gotcha. And you mentioned learning from people who are smarter, more experienced, and being okay with making mistakes. Do you think having that humility has helped you grow in your business?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny how sometimes in this business people say just fake it till you make it. And I don't believe you can. I think people know when you're trying to. So if I don't have answers, find them and let them know. And so, yeah, I think just being yourself and taking care of the client. And if you don't know, you ask questions. And I have surrounded myself with people that are smarter than me, better in this business so I can learn. And I just plan on continuing to do that.
One thing we talked about off mic, and we talked about how important responsiveness is in this business, especially between a real estate agent and a lender. So, from your side, why is fast communication such a big deal when it comes to working with buyers? And what difference does that make for you on your side of the transaction?
Uh, it's huge. I know that gosh, I like comes to mind one of my clients said that, we just closed a deal in less than a month for him, and he, said I was the 3rd person that he called and the only one that responded to him.
Wow.
And yeah, I know, like and it was a great it was a good deal, and he was fun to work with, so I just think it's important for the client, even if I can't answer the phone right away, just quickly sending a text and saying, "I saw your call, I'll call you right back." It just makes every transaction go so much smoother, and, the clients need to feel heard. When they're calling, it's just usually urgent in their mind, and so, I wanna be there for them for that, and then also with the lending and title, like, it's just a whole team, and everybody needs to be responsive, and we're all there for the same goal. So I try and, be that person for them.
And to contrast that, when you haven't gotten the responsiveness that you need from a loan officer um, in the transaction? Because I know that's a common complaint.
Yeah.
How has that affected the transaction? Not to bring up anything negative necessarily, but I think that's important for people watching to understand that there is a dark side to that. There is a loan
Oh,
officer not
yeah.
answering a text, email, or a phone call on a Friday afternoon at 2:30 when you desperately need to know if somebody's approved. Kind of go into what that does and what the ripple effect is like on your end for that.
Well, if they're just trying, in the beginning in the stages and they're just trying to get approved, we can't start the process of looking for a home till we know what they can afford. And so that slows everything down. And they need to know that. And during the transaction, they hold that golden ticket. So if
Right.
they're missing something or I can't get that information or title needs it, it really just holds up the whole transaction. And, the two, we're affecting 2 families, not just 1, not just that buyer, it's the seller if we're already in the middle of that. So it's just really important that everybody works together, that we're all doing our job.
No, absolutely. So there's a lot of care I hear from you, and you genuinely
Mhm.
care for your clients. You want to protect them. You want to take care of them. What is that? Where does that kind of protective nature come from for you?
I think I was just born with it. The mom in me, grandma in me. I just care about people and I always have, and I just take it into my job, my career, helping people.
It comes across very genuine, so I just had to ask because it is a mama bear instinct. It kind of seems like so. I mean, if your kids are listening, to this episode 5, 10 years from now, what would you hope they hear from you about how you've done your work, that lessons that they can take with them too?
Both my kids are adults, and they actually inspire me because they've told me that what I've done for them has inspired them. So, for instance, like when I made the change to go into real estate from working in the schools for over 20 years, it gave them both courage to make some changes and do some different things in their adult life. So, that was really rewarding. Like they're watching and they saw that as being risky or being just brave, really, to make a change like that at, I guess, my age and in my career. So I think that I continue to just work hard and be a good example and show them as they show me, really, that, it pays off to take care of people, to be loving, to care.
It's good. So when everyone's starting out, especially in a new career field, and you're going from education into real estate, which has some similarities. I mean, I feel like your personality will come through in different ways that maybe you handle education with, and now you're handling real estate. So there is a crossover there. But what's maybe a mistake you made early on that turned into one of your best lessons that you had that you would maybe impart on a realtor that's new listening, like, hey, take it from me, don't do this.
I think, honestly, some of in the beginning, especially my follow-up, I was afraid to bother people and bug people, and so, we're offering a service, and we're not bugging them, especially when they reach out to us first. I mean, there is that fine line of it, but
Sure.
make that call and just, offer your service. Don't be afraid to, because I know I've done like so many open houses and I'll have the list of people and you go back after, like I'll make that first call, but I don't follow up. And then when you see, if you do your research and look them up and you see they already bought a house or they sold it with somebody else, kind of hurts because it was me. It's my fault, not theirs, that I didn't do the work and follow up.
I got you.
So
Success obviously changes year over year. Perception of it changes. How would you differentiate success from when you started in 2021 to how you're wrapping up 2025?
Well, my numbers I've actually been very, very lucky, blessed, all of those things. I've always had really good numbers. This year, it just has felt I've really been able to, how's the word that I'm looking for? Like just really connecting with my clients. And instead of it, being the learning part, like I feel like every transactions I learn something new, but like I'm more comfortable with it. I have a really good transaction coordinator that helps me keep everything. So I'm really able to focus on my clients. And so I just feel that feeling of that it is a success that I've like been with my clients and been able to help them get in the homes. And I'm more focused on that than just getting it done and making sure I do it right. So
Sure.
for me, that's the success.
In sports, we call it the game slowing down, right? It's when you're kind of a veteran and you're used to what's going to happen. You've been through the experience a few times. It's not so I'm worried about this, that, or the other thing. You kind of know what to expect, and then you can just kind of enjoy the process versus being so nervous about each step of it. So it's slowing
Yeah.
down for you in a good way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
All
It's a
right.
good
So
analogy.
let's let's fast forward way out into the future. We're talking years and years and years out into the future. We're at a celebration of life for Joanne. Everyone's talking about you. How do you want to be remembered? What do you hope people say about you?
The dash, huh? Um, I hope that they know how much I genuinely cared about them, how much my family loved me, my clients love me and know that I was there for them, that honestly just that I lived an honest and loyal and happy life and that I was able to impact other people in a positive way.
Well, I think you're certainly
Mhm.
doing all that, and you're definitely on point. Thank you so much for coming on today. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us. Please like, subscribe for more in-depth real estate knowledge. If you'd like to reach out to Joanne, we're going to go ahead and list her information here in the description, and she'll be happy to work with you, consult with you, and make you feel loved and valued with that mama bear energy. Once again, I'm Jared Sawyer. Goodbye and take care.